Hey everyone, welcome back to The Local Edge, the podcast where we cut through the chaos of public sector operations to uncover practical ways for you to reduce costs, improve services, and boost your impact. I'm your host, Mark Grabo with Local Efficiency Solutions, and I've been doing public sector operations efficiency improvement work for over 20 years across both Oregon and in Nevada. I've done performance management work for City of Portland, Oregon, the City of Gresham, the City of Eugene, and I've learned some things while both studying this in grad school and then doing it for so many years. I'll share just a little background. I did my first operations performance improvement project back at Southern Oregon University over 20 years ago while I was a disabilities accommodations coordinator. We needed to improve services to be able to meet our need under ADA compliance laws and just deliver better services to the student body. So I did an assessment, a cost-benefit analysis, wrote up a proposal on the operational efficiency of our current accommodated testing. I got approval, did a full revamp. It's still going to this day. Really proud of that one. Since then, I've been doing operations improvement project management for years. And when you get into this, when you really start learning about performance management at the 20,000 foot altitude level, as folks like to say, right? At that, because you got to see that high altitude down to the boots on the ground level. I'm going to use all those corporate buzzwords as we go through it. So as you really start to sink your teeth into it and you learn about the history of it and why we use performance management and where we use it in the public sector, there's not a lot of really strong operational tools. So if you're like me and you've ever done performance management work at the local sector or the public sector, either of those, local public sector, which is who I really specialize my services towards, then you know that you have to bootstrap and build your stuff from the ground up every time. A lot of this stuff is informed by the logic model. That's the foundation of OPM, Operations Performance Management. The logic model gets its history foundation back into the 70s, 80s, and it came out from the Kellogg Foundation. And it's the really big, the foundational way you get approval for audits, state audit checks, a lot of grant money, funding. They're tied to logic models. So the core flow of a logic model is your inputs, that's your resources, like your budgets and your staff, your activities, the work you're gonna actually do, your outputs, what you're gonna get out of all of this, your outcomes, the changes you hope to achieve, like improved efficiency, and then impact. How's this really gonna benefit the public? Because again, really, these are geared towards public service institutions, right? That's where this comes from. So you got your logic models, which is excellent for your reporting, getting grants, auditing, all that kind of stuff. It's awesome. I'm not going to knock it. I love it. I used it for a city that I worked for right there. It's linear though. It's great for reporting, but it's not the most tactical. And as somebody that's doing operations performance management work, I want something tactical. So the other one that is familiar to me that I've seen used a lot and that I incorporated into the tool that I'm going to share with you all today is the performance management pyramid, which if you're in performance work in the public sector, you've seen this one. And it's got up at the top your vision and your mission, and then your goals, and then strategic objectives, and then strategies, and all your key performance indicators at the base. And that's excellent. You're able to outline stuff that you need to do, really get tactical with your top-down approach, really bottom fed up, because the top is reliant upon the work that happens at the bottom, the key performance indicators. That's your boots on the ground work. But you still can't use it on your day-to-day operations management, right? And so I'm going to pull up mine. I want to introduce the tool that I've made. This is free, as all my tools are. If you're doing performance management work or you want to create a performance management program for your public sector organization, I guarantee you that you won't find a better performance management tool that's free on the internet today. In fact, if you do, please email me and I'll make a post. I'll shout out the praise for it and I'll eat my words on it, because I've been doing this work and I find it hard to find something that can give you that executive level, 20,000 foot altitude overview of what's happening in an organization that includes those inputs and outputs and those key metrics that you need for your funding strategies, for your funding proof, for your audits, for your grants, but then also gives you your day-to-day outlook at what's happening, department by department, indicator by indicator, organized, and color-coded. So that's the one that I'm introducing today. I wanted to give my background on these two that I've been familiar with, the logic model, which is the foundation of operations performance management, and then the performance pyramid with the hierarchical top-down view. We see those commonplace. I've essentially combined them, and this is because this is the way that I work. If I work for an organization, I actually did this when I redesigned the unfunded needs assessment for the city of Eugene while I was working there as a project manager in the finance department, doing some stuff in this realm. And I can't go into all the specifics, of course, but I can talk about this work because it was published in their budget for fiscal year 2021. I redesigned the unfunded needs assessment. I was tickled that one of the counselors actually called it out and said, this is a really good redesign. I like the color coding you did, and I like how you aligned it to our goals. I take these and I use the logic model for performance management, and I use this strategy pyramid, and I color code and I hierarchically organize things to align them to both council goals or board goals, depending on where you're working. And then also the actual departmental goals that each department always creates, because we always have these. If you're doing any kind of forward thinking, forward planning in your departments, there's some type of departmental goal. And so those are going to be documented. And there's going to be ways to calibrate those with your overarching institutional goals. And so I plug and play those into my framework. So I decided to really create it robust. It's 14 tabs when you get into it. It's a lot, but delete the ones you don't need. I actually made this for 3 of the organizations that I'll typically work with, for local governments, for K through 12 districts, school districts, and then for community colleges. And you'll see once you get into it, it's got a bunch of pre-populated departments for each of the different organizations that I just mentioned. So go in there, check it out. If you're coming from a city, look at the city one, delete the rest, delete the other ones. You don't need them. Keep your example tab, keep your instructions tab, and then keep everything else that has the right appropriate title in yours: city, college, district. And then if you're none of those, pick the ones that's the best for you, and then adjust the column that has the predetermined, pre-populated departments as needed. Reach out to me if you need any help with it. I'd be happy to help. I don't charge for that kind of stuff. I'm a public servant just because I got a company. I got the company so that I can extend my reach and not just be in the area that I live to do the work that I'm most skilled at, which is operations, performance management, efficiency improvement work for public sector organizations. So check it out. Let me know what you think. Play with it. Give me a call, give me a text, give me an email. If you have any questions about it, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Until next time, I'm Mark Grabo signing off. Take care.